slash Bellator is sinking, and it is looking like one of the worst and stupidest run companies ever. And right now, all of their investors are fleeing faster than the Hawk Tua coin. In this video, I'm going to be telling you all of the step-by-step guide that the PFL did to absolutely sink their growing company, and just show you why the UFC doesn't even need to try anymore, and that their competition will just sink themselves because they're completely inept at running their job. And yeah, so let's just hop right into the video. So I just want to start highlighting the PFL slash Bellator deal. So when people think of PFL, I think most people think of an up and coming fighting league, which isn't really popular right now, but it's kind of coming up. There's some popular fighters who could compete with the UFC right now, but the thing is, there's just not a lot of popularity, not a lot of fun fighters there. So it is an up and coming company. What the PFL decided to do was just bet on themselves, even though no one watched it. They completely sank all of their money into buying another failing company in Bellator. And in their company release, they said it was less than 100 million. And that's how you know they paid way too much money for that. When they're saying less than 100 million, when they're not even putting the specific like dollar figure in the title, that's how you know they're just panicking at their purchase, and they're just like kind of regretting it. But they're I mean, it was a terrible purchase. PFL and Bellator are both just not very popular companies, so buying Bellator doesn't really add popularity to the company. It just kind of adds a fuller roster of just more mediocrity that no one's going to watch. And in that, they kind of realized that pretty fast, because the Ngannou and Ferreira, the pretty much Conor McGregor of PFL, who was supposed to show all the investors that he's the man, they only sold 10,000 buys on that pay-per-view, and that is genuinely abysmal. That is, for the amount of money they paid Francis Ngannou and the other fighters on that card, they had to lose an atrocious amount of money for their investors. Francis Ngannou, he's gone to PFL. The entire reason is to get paid way more money. He's getting paid, I think, around like 10 million for this fight, and he negotiates his term for his opponent, who's also getting paid similarly to him. So it's just like an overall terrible deal, and they're getting scammed pretty much. They're putting on this event for free. There's no money to be made. And this is when the investors started to, I think this is when everyone's starting to worry. I think PFL and Bellator is really blowing, like fucking self-exploding right now. And you can tell with all the Bellator champions frustrated with the PFL. You see a lot of them come out, if this will ever load. You see a lot of fighters like Patchy Mix, Patricio Pitbull. Those guys have been extremely vocal in their like disdain for like the PFL not fighting them and just holding them. And like what Dana White is going to say in this video I'm about to show you, it's because they're running out of money. You do not sit champions for no reason. It's all because they're running out of money, and they're kind of freaking out about it, and they're putting, I'm going to explain later what they're trying to do, but we can see a lot of the times Patchy Mix, he's tweeting, or I don't care about Corey Anderson, but you see Patchy Mix, he's saying he's training his ass out. He's had a fight in November canceled, and now he's being told off, and he just wants to fight, and Pitbull's asking to be cut pretty much. And it's getting crazy that these PFL champions, the like top rank, the only reason people would be interested in the PFL, are getting denied fights, which is just a clear tell sign that the PFL and Bellator is running out of money from investors. This shit is not working, and I think Dana White explains it better than me. I think Dana White has had a field day just watching the fucking collapse of PFL and Bellator. He said it from the start. Watching them spend more money than the Sphere card on the Renan Ferreira versus Ngannou, like, who thought that was a good idea? They're just throwing money at the wind, hoping that like some magic fairy dust like gives it all back. And I don't know, it's retarded. They haven't done anything to build like fan base. They haven't really built any like stars up yet. Like, they have a Nurmagomedov, and he's honestly the most uninteresting one out of all of them, because I've never seen an interview with him. I've only seen boring ass decision clips, and like I can't say I've seen too much else. And yeah, I'm just gonna show this clip of Dana White responding to all the PFL fighters wanting to leave, and him just laughing at all, laughing at the ineptity of the PFL and Bellator.
Pitbull said earlier this week that he wants to leave the PFL and he would like to sign with the UFC. Is he someone you'd like to see on the roster?
Who said that?
Patricio Pitbull.
Oh, Pitbull. Listen, the last...
Dude, this guy is having a fucking, like... I mean, he doesn't have to... Like, I know he's getting sued for this monopoly thing, but he didn't really even make a monopoly. He wasn't doing any, like, really that scandalous things. I know he had the CM Punk thing. The only reason he signed him is to, like, mess with Bellator a little bit, but... To be honest, like, everyone blames Dana White for, like, way too much on, like, the stupidity of the PFL and all the other organizations that went down. The UFC has been the only one who's, like, kept to their guns, have been smart with their business decisions, and, I mean, it's just paid off. Every single other company that's run alongside them, like, Strikeforce was the only company that even had a chance, but it just folded because investors didn't really care and saw a paycheck, so... You know, I'm going to continue this clip, but Dana White's just, he's loving this.
Months we've been talking a lot about the PFL, you know. They're canceling a lot of shows. I know that a lot of guys that are supposed to fight aren't fighting. And, I mean, you guys know what's going on. I'm not, you know. When you see that start to happen, you're running out of money. Things aren't looking good. And you're going to have people that want to jump ship. You know, these guys want to fight. You have a very limited time of opportunity when you're a professional athlete, and even less when you're a fighter.
Yeah, so you get it. It would be really fun to see a lot of these PFL Bellator fighters come down to the UFC, because I think a lot of them are just kind of like, I think a lot of them are slept on. I see like Lucas Tracy always making hate comments towards the PFL and Bellator, saying like they have like no one that could compete at the top level. And I would just like love to see like some of these PFL Bellator fighters, they could honestly beat the top guys, and a lot of people just like don't know it because these companies are so terrible at promoting their stars. So let me tell you the PFL's recipe of eliminating themselves. So they decided with all of this capital and all of this money that they built up and investors, instead of just trying to build their stars and promote more and just be profitable, they immediately put all of their money into Bellator, a failing company who's run so many events that no one has watched. Steve Coker is somewhere relaxing in the Bahamas. He got absolutely bailed the fuck out. He was chilling in Bellator running like events no one watched, and then randomly had a like board meeting with the PFL and just got like millions of dollars for nothing. Like, he didn't do a good job at promoting any of his stars. And yeah, so PFL decided, let's sync with Bellator and let's just like run out of money. And they ran that Ferreira Nagano fight, and they're already out of money. Their first fight from this like deal, their first like gigantic pay-per-view, they're already out of money. I mean, it's genuinely like a retarded business move. Sorry, I gotta stop saying that, but hey man, I think it's a really stupid business move. I think the PFL Bellator has a like really good chance of like, if they really like promoted their stars and really just tried their hardest to like be profitable, and like eventually they could probably like bring in a lot of stars, but they immediately just bet on themselves and just like ran themselves out of business. And the reason why I think the PFLs, they have a lot of investors. I know a lot of people see Don Davis. He's always like spinning stuff about like how the PFL is like, doing well and that bullshit. But when you look at the investors on Google, you see guys like Kevin Hart, guys like Wiz Khalifa. Like, these guys aren't like true like blooded MMA fans. We're going to stick by this project because they love MMA and they want to see like they're committed to this project. These are just dudes who want to make smart business decisions, and they were roped into this, and they've been losing a lot of money. I know Wiz Khalifa is a MMA guy. He like kickboxes, but I've honestly seen him do more with like one championship out in like Thailand, doing stuff with them. I didn't even know he was associated with PFL at all. All of these guys are just kind of here for the money, and right now they're losing so much money. This has been the worst business decision, and right now you kind of see that their last chance is the road to Dubai. Dagestan versus Ireland 2, Paul Hughes versus Nurmagomedov. And to be honest, they've been promoting it. They've been honestly trying. This is the first time I've seen Bellator try. Like, they're promoting pay-per-view multiple months out. Like, I saw like a reel, like a PFL reel of Paul Hughes. He was saying some bullshit. I didn't care, but yeah, and like they're actually putting effort. But to be honest, it's too little, too late. You did like one of the stupidest decisions ever, and no one's really interested in this fight. I mean, Usman Nurmagomedov, he is very good, but to be honest, no casual fans are invested in either of these two. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, Nurmagomedov," and that'll immediately make them tune in. But a lot of these casuals won't watch a PFL card just for, the Nurmagomedov name. These guys really don't have any beef. And my prediction is that this fight won't sell any pay-per-views, and you will see the results on social media the next day, and you'll see fucking Don Davis like keeled over at the press conference because all of his money's out because it got 5,000 pay-per-view buys, and Kevin Hart's calling him on the phone, fucking ready to pull out of this project. So that's the video. I just wanted to highlight how PFL is just doing a terrible job and how they're probably out of money soon. I know one championship is still around and all that, but it's really seeming to be that UFC is going to become a monopoly, and that I know one championship will always be there because the Muay Thai is always interesting and they're a huge market in Asia. But you even see with one championship, a lot of their stars like Mikey Musacheni, who is that guy? De Ritter, they're all leaving, and you see like the money all gonna going to the UFC. All the MMA promotions are just slowly dying out, and it's a sad thing. But I don't know. You can't really blame the UFC for it when PFL is doing bullshit like this. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more, like it. Yeah.